What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode. If you aren't doing so, make sure you hit that like, comment, subscribe button on this YouTube video, and make sure you go follow me on Instagram or all platforms where I'm always posting content, always posting on my stories to give you guys more information so you can create the best mental and physical version of yourself possible. Today though, we're talking about cardio. Why is cardio important? When should you do cardio? And how much should you do? Debunking fitness myths about cardio. And first off, I'm just going to give my own personal experience with cardio. When you first get into the gym, you only want to lift weights because that's the only thing you associate with getting big and gaining muscle. But that is not the case. I never used to do cardio because I thought that I would lose muscle and I would look skinny and I would look like all of these things I didn't want to look like. What I realized is that I had it all wrong and I was doing it wrong my entire life. I never did cardio, and guess what? I ate a shit ton and I only lifted weights and I was just fat. I had no endurance about me and no physical aspect. Did I look fucking okay? I was a little chubby, or I was always skinny with like skinny fat, but I never looked okay. And it's because I never did cardio. Once you actually implement cardio, your physique changes so much. And not only for your physique, but your mindset. So today I broke it down in sections for us on how we're gonna go over this. So section 1, why cardio? Cardio is going to help with your heart health, faster recovery, boosts fat loss. Now it doesn't completely correlate to you losing fat, but it helps target and helps with the process of burning fat. There's other things that come in to a fat burning process, like your calorie deficit with your weightlifting, your resistance training 3 to 5 times per week, and also doing cardio 3 to 5 times per week as well. Your VO2 Max, which is going to be oxygen delivery to your muscles. If you did not know this, oxygen gets delivered to your muscles. That is how you recover. And mental toughness. Toughness is a huge one, right? Because you're sitting there doing cardio. Yeah, it could be boring, but you don't realize cardio is fucking hard and it sucks. And you don't want to do it. And there's a reason not a lot of people do it. It's because it sucks. But you do it so much every single day, you just learn to love that shit. And that's what this whole lifestyle is about. If you want to create the best version of you mentally and physically, you got to learn to love this shit. It's a lifestyle, right? But I wrote some notes on what a VO2 max is because not a lot of people know what a VO2 max is, how to find your VO2 max, and how it corresponds to your physique. So first off, VO2 max is the max amount of oxygen, right? VO2 equals better performance and endurance, creates faster recovery, and you can look at VO2 max like your body's engine. So if you were to have, a basic car with, it's like a 4-cylinder car. And I actually don't know a lot about cars, so I don't know why I'm using an example. Let's just use a smaller end car compared to like a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, right? But your body's engine is your VO2 max, which creates the faster recovery. The longer you can push yourself without burning out. Muscle wins fights. Cardio determines how long you survive. So working on building your VO2 max is going to be a crucial thing for you, right? So this can include, and we'll get into it a little bit later, but this can include doing something really hard for a short amount of time. It could be sprinting, it could be biking, it could be rowing, it could be doing a HIIT workout, it could be doing all these things, right? But that's basically why you should be doing cardio, is because it aids in your health. It aids in your fat burning process. It aids in your longevity for life. What good would it be to be some jacked dude walking around the gym, but he's fucking out of breath anytime he walks up the stairs? I would hate to be the fat, or not the fat guy. I would hate to be a fat guy. I would hate to be the jacked motherfucker that breathes heavy putting on his socks. I used to have it all wrong. I used to just want to be the biggest guy in the gym. It's not just about being big though. You want to be able to survive life. You want to be able to get through if you got to go climb Mount Everest tomorrow because the world's ending, and if you don't get to, you want to be able to do that shit. I don't know why that was the first thing that popped in my head, but you want to be able to get through anything in life, and cardio is usually a weakness in almost everybody because nobody does it. But section 2, how much cardio? If you're looking for fat loss, you want to go 2 to 4 sessions per week. Now, this is something you're going to be able to play with, right? Because you can either right off the rip go for hella sessions in a row. You don't need to go 7 days though. I think when you first start off, you should do 2 to 4 sessions per week and then slowly, gradually climb the cardio ladder from there. If you wanna go 5 times a week, perfect. Pick out 5 days out of the week that work best for you to do your cardio. But for fat loss, I would do it 2 to 4 times per week, 20 to 40 minutes. And you can do moderate to high intensity. Now, what's moderate to high intensity cardio look like? I will talk about that over here. But basically, you could be doing the treadmill, you could be doing the Stairmaster, you can go outside and do sprints, you can go for a run, a jog, just a basic regular walk. It doesn't matter. Just moderate to high intensity cardio. We could be doing the bleachers at your local high school field. It literally could be anything. Don't overthink it. It's just getting your heart rate up, living in that zone 2 to potentially zone 3 kind of activity, right? But for endurance and performance, you really want to focus on 4 to 6 sessions per week, right? Because you're wanting to, you have to, if you're living like an athlete, you have to train like an athlete and you have to do these things like an athlete. You're always moving, and cardio is literally something you live by. So 4 to 6 sessions per week, steady state, interval sprints, anything like that is going to keep you endurance longevity. Now, section 3, what kind of cardio? There's steady state cardio, which is zone 2, your basic cardio. That's not even basic cardio, but zone 2 is like moderate to almost getting to the high intense, but you're not really like, you know, running or sprinting yet. High intensity interval training, sprints, rucking, which is just weighted walking, or you might see a lot of people who throw on a vest and walk on the Stairmaster, but you can just throw on a vest and go walk outside, right? My biggest thing that I preach is that people should walk 10,000 steps a day. I really believe that you, and by seeing results within myself and my clients, you can really burn so much fat just by doing a low impact cardio, such as walking your 10,000 steps a day. You have no idea how much cardio that actually burns until you do it, but everyone's fucking lazy and don't want to do it. 10,000 steps a day seems like a lot, but it's not. If you strategically plan it, walk in the morning, walk in the middle of the day. If you can, walk at night, but your big walks are going to be in the morning and at night. And if you go for a run, I mean, that'll get your steps in as well. But 10,000 steps a day will burn so much more fat than you could possibly think without you even have to touch cardio equipment. Now for me, I always did cardio after my workout, and I'll talk about that later, but I always did cardio after my workout, but I hated it. It was boring. And then I started walking the 10,000 steps a day. That changed the game because I'm like, holy shit. I could just do this and still get lean without working on all these other cardio equipment machines, right? So how to get shredded while keeping muscle. Stay in zone 2, sprints. If you haven't heard about sprinting is probably one of the best ways to test your VO2 max, right? You're building that crazy endurance because you're running, giving it everything you have for 10 to 20 seconds. Maybe it's like 60 to 80 yards. You're giving it everything you have, and then take a minute to 2 minutes to walk in between your sprinting. And that's how you're gonna build up and go again and build that endurance and longevity. But it's going to burn fat longer while preserving your muscle. And there's also things that go into that as well as your diet. You have to consume the correct amount of calories, correct amount of macros, which that's going to be for another video. And your high intensity interval training. Section 4, cardio myths. Cardio kills muscle is false. Now, you could think it kills muscle because if you're doing all this cardio, but you aren't consuming the correct amount of macros and calories that you need in a day to hit whatever goal you're looking for, like if you're trying to burn fat, you want to be consuming X amount of calories. It all comes down to your height, your age, your weight, your activity level, the lifestyle you live, right? If you're in a calorie deficit though, overall, you want to be doing cardio, and it's not going to burn muscle. It's just going to burn fat over time, but you can do it wrong if you aren't following the correct nutrient protocol. Now, only long sessions burn fat. That is also false. You can do 10 to 20 sprints in a session, which will also boost your testosterone. My favorite example is if you look at marathon runners are pretty skinny, right? They're lean and they're shredded, but they're they're decently skinny compared to sprinters. It's fast twitch muscle fibers. And if you look at sprinters, their legs are a little bit more bigger, maybe even a little bit more defined, but you get more muscle building traction off doing fast twitch movements like sprinting. So no, you don't need to do long sessions. You could do 10 to 20 sprints. That would probably honestly only take you 10 to 20 minutes. I walk every day after my workout, or I'll walk in the morning, and it's not even for that long. It's for like 20 minutes, could be 40 minutes. It's all different, but you don't need to do hours upon hours of cardio to burn fat. That you might be doing more damage to yourself. And lastly, you need cardio every day, which is also false. Can you do it every day? Yes, you can do it every single day. Now, how I like to view it is that my training regimen, what works out for me and what works for my schedule, is that I train 4 times to 5 times per week doing resistance training. Now, throughout the week, I like to run, and I like to walk. So walking your 10,000 steps is a non-negotiable every single day. So I will get my 10,000 steps also while getting my resistance training in, but cardio every day, I don't do. The 10,000 steps is my cardio. But other than that, I have 2 short runs per week. So maybe Tuesday and Thursday, or Tuesday and Friday, whatever days I feel like it, I will go on a short run. Everyone's running is different. Everyone goes for different miles. But I go for a short run. Saturday or the weekend, whatever, I'll go for a little bit longer of a run, okay? So I don't do cardio every day. I do cardio 3 times a week, right? Or maybe I'll walk after my training sessions. You don't need to do it every week, but as long as you stay on top of it, it's going to aid in your fat burning process, or just keeping you shredded, or whatever physique goal you have in mind. Cardio is going to be the best thing for you, I promise you right now. If I were to pull up a picture of myself of what I looked like when I wasn't doing cardio because I thought it was going to take away and burn all my muscle away, no, I looked like shit when I didn't do cardio. As soon as I implemented cardio, that's when my physique changed, and you would never know that because you would think, just like young me, no, it's gonna take away all my muscle and I don't wanna look like a fucking twig, right? No, that's literally not the case. Cardio is going to get you shredded. It's going to get you peeled. It's going to help you with your cardiovascular health, your overall longevity, your overall human existence. Cardio builds you for that. You wanna be able to survive outrunning fucking zombies one day, right? You're not gonna do that looking jacked without doing cardio. You can be both. You can be both 100%. You just have to be consistent with doing both resistance training and cardio. If you just did cardio, yeah, you'd be a skinny little dweeb. But if you do resistance training and cardio, they work together to create the jacked human that you want to be while also keeping you in a lean state. And it all depends too on where you're at with your journey. Whether it's a bulk and you're coming down from your bulk, if you're doing a bulk, you still can do cardio. You still should do cardio. If you're cutting, yes, it works for every part of cardio areas, every part of your life. And section 5, we got some extra. Post lift, you should be doing cardio and you should make it separate. So if you're running and doing the gym both in the same days, I would wake up early. You could either I would get my workout in first because I like to completely tax my central nervous system with my compound lifts, and I'm way more fatigued after lifting than I am running. But if you were to run before, you might not feel as strong for your weight training session. But if you split it up, you're gonna be just fine. You can run in the morning, you can train later in the day, or you can train in the morning, you can run later in the day. As long as you separate the two, get the nutrient-dense foods that you need in between each session and eat the right carb sources to fuel you for each session, you will be just fine. Fasted or non-fasted? This is probably one of the biggest controversial topics ever, and probably not ever, but it is a controversial topic. Should you do cardio fasted? I see so many fucking people who say, you need to be doing cardio fasted to burn fat. That's fucking bullshit, all right? You don't need to do fasted cardio. Cardio is cardio. You do it anytime throughout the day. That's all that matters. It's just like eating food. There's different ways to consume calories. There's intermittent fasting. There's just eating every 3 hours. It's all a different lifestyle, right? But your body is like a vehicle. Your body's like your car. Doesn't matter what time you put gas in your car. No, it does not. So if you have to eat 3,500 calories a day, just eat the 3,500 calories a day. It doesn't matter what time in the day that it is, as long as you get the 3,500 calories. Your gas is like the car, right? It doesn't matter when you get it in. Now, what I would highly recommend is that if you are eating late at night and you eat a big meal, I would highly suggest you go for that post-digestion walk, and that's what's going to help you break down the nutrients and helps with your gut health and helps with your digestive problems, or not digestive problems, but helps your digestive tract in general so you can sleep well. If not, you're gonna be sitting there chewing up all that food in your stomach and you can barely sleep and your body's not gonna recover because it's eating up all that food, right? So if you go for like a quick walk after to help with the digestion process, that's going to help so much more. So fasted or non-fasted, it does not matter. As long as you do it, that is all that matters. Now, what I'm personally doing right now is I wake up in the morning, I train at around 7:30 a.m., 8 a.m., and I'll come back here and I'll have protein coffee. Now, I don't eat till about 11 or 12 o'clock throughout the day, 11 a.m., 12 p.m. I don't eat until around then. I fast. Technically, I fast, but I have my protein coffee. That's the first thing that I have to get my post-protein workout in with coffee, black coffee, espresso, whatever you want. And then I eat my first meal at 11 to 12, and then I will finish my last meal around 8 to maybe 10, right? And then I don't eat again the next day until 11 or 12. But fasted or non-fasted, it does not matter as long as you get it in, right? Now, better health, recovery, sleep, immune system, mental health problems, physical health, cardio is going to be the best thing for you that you can do, okay? There's different aspects when it comes to your training. What should you be doing and how should you be doing it? What's going to maximize your full potential? You wanna make sure that you are always training. You wanna make sure that you're recovering. You wanna make sure that you're eating right. And you wanna make sure that you're doing your cardio. But you're not going to recover if you aren't eating right, and you aren't going to recover if you aren't doing your cardio. You want to be able to deliver that oxygen back to your muscles so you can recover. Long term, it's going to help you out so much more. If you don't use your body, you're going to lose your body, right? So this is the biggest thing I live by, and it's because I started off my fitness journey completely wrong. And it took me years to realize that I was fucking myself up and putting myself deeper in the dirt because I was doing it all wrong. But I wouldn't have known that because I finally learned throughout my years going to college, which college meant really almost nothing, but I learned a lot about your physical health and your body, and it was actually very interesting. When you study kinesiology, it teaches you a lot about your body. I've learned through life experiences, working in football programs, seeing how athletes train and condition their body, why cardio is such a beneficial factor to elevating someone's lifestyle, keeping them jacked, keeping them shredded. Cardio is the way to go. Now, this video is probably helpful for you if you didn't know much about cardio because you thought just like me and thought that it would eat away all your muscle, and that's just not the case. So if you aren't doing cardio right now, here is what I would recommend. If I was a doctor and I was writing you a prescription for cardio, I recommend you start off 2 to 4 times per week, 20 to 40 minutes per session. Go from there. Also get your 10,000 steps in. See how much different you look just by doing that within 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Make sure you always take progress pictures. But 10,000 steps a day will make the world of a difference in your lifestyle, in your fitness journey, along with doing the cardio after your workouts, or make sure you separate them, split them up in between, as well as going for those post-digestion walks to help break down food before bed or before your workout, whatever it is. Post-digestion walks are very underlooked on. They're slept on, is what I'll say. But if you like this video, give a like, give a comment, give a subscribe, share to a friend who needs to know more about cardio, and I will see y'all in the next one. I fucking love you guys. Peace.